In today's video, we are going to be diving into a little bit more of an advanced Pinterest strategy. I'm going to be giving you the exact blueprint that I use to grow my email list using Pinterest. We're going to be walking through this exact funnel here step by step. I'm going to be walking you through how to come up with ideas for a lead magnet or a freebie to offer people on Pinterest in order to capture their email. I'm going to talk about how to design a landing page that sells that lead magnet so that you can capture the email, what to do after you have that email, what tools and systems I use to automate the flow of sending that email out, and then ultimately how to drive value to your email list to ultimately get value from that email list. And I'm not going to lie, if you are looking for some easy kind of Pinterest strategy, then this probably isn't the video for you. This is going to take some work up front, but the great thing about this strategy is once you have it built out, there is ways that you can automate this system so that it takes less and less work every time you are building out new pins and things like that. So it's upfront a lot of work, and then you can automate it on the back end. So stick with me. I will have timestamps down below that you can check out so you can skip around in this video and come back when you need to build different processes and things like that. But I'm hoping you stick with me because I think this will really pay off for you and your business. And I do have to, of course, mention that this video is in partnership with Pinterest. Super excited to be partnering with them to create this content for you that hopefully you find super valuable. Now, before we dive into the first step, I want to give you just 3 simple reasons why I love this strategy and why you should consider it. 1, Pinterest users are in discovery mode. If you watch any of my other videos before, you know that people are actually searching for these specific lead magnets that we're going to be building out. Number 2, pins can have a very long shelf life. A lot of this content can be evergreen and can last your business for months and even years. And then finally, the opportunity to automate your list building. The tools that I'm going to be showing you allow you to plug and play and then just continue to slowly feed that and kind of snowballs as you build this process out. Now, the top of this funnel is Pinterest traffic, but where I want to actually start is this lead magnet, because the lead magnet is the one thing that is actually going to make or break this entire funnel. And you want to really think about what kind of lead magnet you want to offer or what kind of freebie you want to offer your audience in order to capture that email. Now, in today's day and age with AI, there are lots of tools that you can use to create these lead magnets, but I want to give you one simple thing that you can use to start generating and brainstorming ideas for things that your audience might actually want. All right, and if you already have a lead magnet thought about and you already have that built out, then you can skip this step. You can check the timestamps down below. But if you are wondering and you have no idea where to start, what I'd recommend is going to ChatGPT and typing in this prompt, say, I have an audience who is interested in, and then I'm saying Pinterest here because I'm going to be creating a lead magnet for people who are interested in Pinterest. Put whatever your niche is in, and then I want to create a lead magnet for them that I can make a Pinterest pins for. Can you give me 20 ideas? And then we're going to pop that into ChatGPT and then let it do its work. And you can see just like that, it spits out 20 different ideas. I'm not going to read through all these different ideas, but the one that I like after reading this is the Pinterest account template. This is actually one that I've already created something for. So we're going to use this as the example, but we're going to be creating a Pinterest account audit template. Now, another step, another pro tip for this, if I wanted to get more information for this, I could say, give me more ideas like 19. And then ChatGPT can then give me more ideas. And I could even work with ChatGPT to build out that audit list if I wanted to. And as you see, there's 15 more ideas right there based on the Pinterest account audit template. So there's no excuses for not being able to come up with an idea for a lead magnet. No matter what your niche is, this will definitely work. Now, when it comes to actually building out your freebie, I would say there's 2 main tools that I typically use. The first one is Google Sheets. I find that this just works really well because you can share out the link really easy and you can organize things kind of in this fashion right here. I'm not going to go through exactly how to create this because I feel like it's kind of basic Google Sheets things, but the biggest thing is just having the knowledge and the value to add inside of the template. The other thing you could do is I've done this template before in Canva as well. So if you wanted to, you can come over here to Canva. You can go to the designs and then just do like a daily checklist. And you can look, they have all sorts of different templates and elements that you can use to create this. This one, I kind of just took one of the templates and modified it a little bit here. So I had a downloadable PDF. It really just depends on which one you like more. A lot of times I'll test both of these offers and see which ones people resonate more, or offer people both of them, either a PDF download from this Canva template or from Google Sheets as well. I will say one of the benefits of doing this in Canva that I like is it allows me to download the asset into a PNG, and then I can use that asset as an actual cover on an ebook or on a computer screen or something like that. And let me show you kind of what I mean. Okay, so I'm here in Pinterest. I just uploaded the file of my PDF here. And if you wanted to get an image of your Google Sheets as well, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just zoom out just like this, and then I will take a screenshot of this, and I can do pretty much the same thing that I would do inside of Canva. So I can come back over here, I'll upload the PDF, and then I'll upload the file from my desktop picture that I just took of the Google Sheet. And then from here, we can go over to designs, and there's all sorts of different designs that you can copy here. But if you wanted to just get like an ebook cover, you can scroll down to elements here, and then we are looking for the frame. And inside of here, you can click see all, and then you have devices. So I find this is really helpful for when you're building out the landing page. So say that I wanted to create this inside of one of these devices here. I can scroll over and let's just see all the ones on the phone. And let's say that I really like this one. Then I can grab that and I can go back to my download downloads here, and I can scroll over and put the template inside of a phone looking thing and make it look legit. You could use this for the landing page that we're going to be creating, or you can also use it for the pins that we're going to be creating. So different ways that you can use this. You can do the same thing with the Google Sheet template. Now, you don't have to show the asset like this. Like right now, I'm showing a lot of the value of the asset. I lean towards actually showing the most value with the image possible and giving them a sneak peek on what they're going to find. I know a lot of people will say, well, you can basically see the entire checklist right there. And yes, that's true, but then at least they know exactly what they're going to be getting and they don't feel like it's a bait and switch. So you can play around with this. Obviously, this doesn't fit super well here. So you can click on this and you can crop it a little bit and move it to the right spot. But that's just one way to get your mockups basically. Okay, so I've just been playing around with this a little bit. I don't like the full on screenshot here. So what I did is I actually put it on kind of a actual book here. I know this sounds kind of silly because it is just an ebook, but the way that this looks, I think looks really good. What I did is I came over to the elements and then I went and found this little book icon right here and then just put it on that way and then just drag and dropped my image onto there. Another one that I really liked was this phone sideways as well. It kind of cuts off the screen right here, but it looks really good. I could put this on a computer image, but it's kind of long vertically, so I think it would look better with an image like this. So now that I have those, the great thing is what I can do is I can come over here and I can do share, and then we want to download, and then we want to save this as a transparent background. Saving this as a transparent background is going to come in handy later for when you're creating your pins and for when we're actually designing our landing page here. So we're going to save that, download that, and we have that ready to go to start creating some pins now. So now we have our lead magnet all built out. We have it ready so that we can actually send it to people, but we need to start creating pins and landing pages for that. So technically we went through step 0. Now we're moving on to step 1, which is actually creating the pins. Now when it comes to creating pins, I use 2 different tools. I use Canva, which we've talked about, to actually create those. And then once I have my lead magnet actually built, I like to use Tailwind to automate a lot of the processes. What I'll do is I'll come over here to generate pins. And the great thing is once you have the lead magnet built out in the URL, you can plug that URL in here. It will take the images from that lead magnet and start generating pins automatically. So basically to get started, I start with Canva, and then to automate the process, I use Tailwind, if that makes sense. So we're going to come over here to Canva and we're going to start creating a pin. By the way, there are lots of other tools that you could use as well. These are just the ones that I like to use, all the ones that I'm mentioning in this video. But we're going to come over here and we're going to go File, and we are going to create a new design. So I just want to create a new design. What I like about Canva is I can just type in pin, and then we have a Pinterest pin right here. We're going to click on this and start creating a design. Now, to begin with the ebook, what I like to do is come over here to this top left-hand side and come over to design. And you can see it's already starting to recommend some things based on this. But what you can do is you can type in ebook right here, and it will give you lots of different templates that you can start with to kind of start designing your ebook here. Now, a couple quick tips before we start designing this. We do want the design to be bold and eye-catching image. We want clear value proposition in the pin. This is very important. We want people to know exactly why they should be clicking on this pin and downloading this asset. And then we need to have a strong CTA in the pin description. And then also on the image, I like to have a strong CTA on there. So just 3 things to keep in mind when you are actually designing this pin. And of course with Canva, I'm assuming a lot of you are familiar with Canva. This isn't necessarily a Canva tutorial. I just want to show you the tools that I use. You can drag and drop and change out anything that you want. So you can change out the title of these. You can change your ebook here. So this is where it's nice to go into your downloads, your uploads here, and then we can grab our template and just simply insert it into the template that it has here. And then of course you can adjust this to look however you want. So I'm going to quickly go through and design this to my liking. Okay, and you can see I just went through and customized this to how I want it to look. I kept pretty much everything the exact same. I just changed out the text and the image here, changed out the title, and then of course the website down below, I adjusted that. And this is just one of the pins here. Now, if I wanted to simply just duplicate this pin and maybe create a different variant of it, what I like to do is just make a copy, take this exact same pin and maybe try a different image, try a different title. It's very important to actually go through and test multiple versions of your offer and different complete pins as well. Don't expect that just one pin is going to drive all of the traffic for your lead magnet. I find that a lot of times I like to create at least 10 to 20 different pin variations in order for this to work. So if you just create one and you don't see traffic coming through, don't get discouraged. Create multiple different variations of that pin. And one more quick bonus tip, be sure if you are kind of stuck on design ideas, go into Pinterest itself and actually type in your lead magnet and see what other people are doing and what's currently ranking inside of Pinterest so that you can get an idea on maybe some of the trends that you're seeing when you're looking for your specific lead magnet on Pinterest. Okay, so we now have most of step 1 done, where we know how to design our pins and get those cranking out. We want to have at least 10 to 20 of those ready to actually start sending to our lead magnet. And that's when we get into step 2. And this is where a lot of people have questions on what tools to use. I've used lots of different tools. The one that I personally prefer to use is one called System.io. I'll just kind of explain the reasons why in a little bit. You of course can use whatever one you want, but the reason why I like to use this is because you can get started for 100% free, and you can get up to 2,000 people on your email list and send them unlimited emails all for free. And you can build out your landing page, and they have like super easy templates. I've used lots of different platforms over the past and switched over from multiple ones, and so far this is the one that I like the most. If you want to take advantage of getting this free offer, you can click the link down below, but you can use whatever kind of email platform or landing page platform you're wanting to, but this just has it all in one place, which makes it really easy. So that's what I am going to be using in this video. And in case you're wondering, System.io is not sponsoring this video. I just wanted to show you the tool that I personally use. Okay, once you go through and create your System.io account, you'll come to a view that looks like this, and up in this top right hand corner you can come over here to sales funnels, and you can see in here I have a ton of different sales funnels that I use. A lot of them are blurred out, but if you wanted to create a new sales funnel, all you need to do is click on plus right here, and then you give this a name. So we're going to call this Pinterest audit video because it's for the video, and then here is where you have your funnel domain. Now mine is attached to something what's called a subdomain. You could just have it be the default System.io domain. If this is a strategy that you're wanting to take seriously, you're going to want to set up a funnel or your actual subdomain here. So you can see my website is www.zocomarketing.com, but with System.io I can do it like go.zocomarketing.com. If you aren't familiar with this process, I'll leave the help link down below on how to set this up. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this does take a little bit of setup, but it's something that will pay off in the long run. Now, if you didn't want to have a custom domain, you could just go with the domain here and run with that, as I mentioned. So you have those different options, but we're going to name this, choose our funnel domain, and then here we can build, you can choose our funnel goal. We can build an audience. We can actually sell a product. This is great if you're actually trying to sell something. System.io lets you actually sell those different products. You can make a custom funnel or run an evergreen webinar. For this example, we're going to be building an audience. Select our currency here, and then we're going to hit save. Now, once you create that, it's going to add the name here, and then from here you can click on this funnel, and it's going to take you to a view that looks like this. Inside of here we have what's called the squeeze page and then the thank you page, and then you can see what I really like about System.io is there's lots of different templates inside of here that you can utilize and actually select from. So you can come over here and you can look at all these. You can make it be 30 or more and scroll through here and find a specific template that you like. Now, if for whatever reason you don't find a template inside of just this little view, for whatever reason System.io has a different link for the templates here, you can come to their template library. And what I like to do, because a lot of times I'm offering ebooks or guides, I will click into here into the ebooks and guides, and then from here there's lots of different options to use. One of the ones that I use honestly the most here is, let me find it real quick. Yeah, it's this one right here, this ebooks and guides. I don't know why it's like they have this blurry here. I kind of hate that it does that, but you can at least preview it here. So if you click preview, this is the page that I like to use. I know it looks super simple, but it converts really, really well. I like my ebooks to be super simple, just enough information to let them know what's inside of it, and only gives them one option on what to do. So what you can do is you can come over to this template and you can actually select it, and then it will automatically put it into your System.io account. So you can see it just put it into that funnel. And then here's our new one that we can rename. So you can click this and then rename this to whatever you want. You can go back to the settings and it goes back to this option where you can change the funnel domain and then opt in. So there's two different ways that you can create a funnel. Either that first way, just by clicking here and create, or going to the template library, which I'll leave a link to that down below as well. We're going to call this Pinterest video funnel, again, video funnel, and we'll call this 3 for this one. So we know that, or 2, because that way we keep it the naming convention right here. Then you can have the payment methods accepted. I'm not going to be looking for a payment method here, but you can keep those where they're at. And then from here, we have this complete funnel where if you click edit, you can see, or sorry, if you click in here into the Pinterest video, and then we look at this, we can actually edit this page from the beginning. Now, if you wanted to change the URL path or the name here, I can call this Pinterest template for the page. So it'll add it over here. And then we can call this Pinterest template video here. And then from here, we can edit the page. And then this is where this makes it really easy. I can just drag and drop and change things super easy. So of course we want to make this as simple as possible. For my landing pages, I like to delete the navigation. I don't want there to be any nav. I just want it to be the landing page where they can only download the ebook. So I like to actually go through and delete the nav down below. I like to come down here. You can leave this section if you want, but I personally honestly just delete all of this just by clicking here and then delete these sections to keep it as simple as possible. I don't want any of these links down here. I want to keep the privacy policy and the legal terms and things like that. So I just hover over this blue section and then click on it, and then I can delete this entire thing down below because I don't want any links personally. And then this leaves me with just a very clean landing page with a headline, a picture of what they're going to be getting, and a call to action. So the first thing I want to do is change out this image for the one that we downloaded in Canva. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to delete this ebook file right here, and then we are going to upload our new image. You're going to grab your images and upload that. Once it is uploaded, you can then select your file. We're going to select it. I already have it in my image library. So we're going to grab this little book right here and insert it. So now we have our ebook to the right-hand side. Next, we need to actually create the copy for this lead magnet. Now, once again, if you wanted to, you could go to ChatGPT and say, hey, create me some ad copy for this specific lead magnet. I already have some written out. So we're just going to go back over to the page and edit that out. In order to change the copy, you just click here and then you can highlight anything and and then change it out. So Pinterest account audit template. I'm gonna go through and change out this copy real quick, and then we'll be back in just a second. Okay, and now we have all of our copy in here, and there's a simple format that I wanna show you that I use that you can use if you want to. You can take it or leave it, but what I like to do is have the name of the actual freebie up at the top, just a quick little blurb on the second headline here, a little bit about why you need it, and then this is important. This just bullet points on what you will get out of the freebie, and then who it is for. Just 3 little bullet points on who it's for, 3 little bullet points about what you get. Simple and to the point, and lets them know they're in the right place and it's going to deliver the value that they want. So that's just a simple little framework there. Just talk about a little paragraph about what it is, what they'll get, and who it's perfect for, and then a stop guessing and start growing. Enter your email below to get instant access to the audit template. And then here it says find out more, so we're going to want to change that CTA. And then also I noticed that this is kind of down a little bit, so I want to click in here, and then I want to change the top padding. So I scroll this up just a little bit so it's a little bit more centered there. And then this page is starting to look really good. Here, if you wanted to change your logo, you could just change that out real quick and add a logo there at the top. But down here, I want to talk about this CTA because this is important. So here, find out more. I don't like that CTA. I want to click on that. And if you scroll down here, you can change the CTA. And I want it to be something very specific, like get my account template today. So right here's the copy. All right, and I just changed that to get my Pinterest account audit. Make sure you're very specific in the CTA on what they're going to be getting. Now with this, the way that it works, if you click over here, this is going to open in a new URL. We don't want that necessarily unless after they actually fill out the email. So what we need to do is we need to come back over here and we need to insert a form. So if we put input form, you can see it's going to go right here and it's going to say warning, input type not set. And so what we want to do is actually drag this up right above the actual CTA. You can see it's kind of hovering close to this button. So I actually want to move that a little bit. I'm going to scroll down here to the top and we're going to give this a little bit of space in between the bottom here. And then there's a lot of rear room in here on the top. So I'm going to scroll this closer over and you can see it's saying warning, input type not set. I want to make sure I click on that and I actually set the type. So here you can see these are all the information that you can capture and we want this to be email. Now, when you're asking for somebody's email or name for an ebook, the most important thing is to not ask for too much information. The most I recommend asking for is first name, last name, and email. Most of the time, I just recommend asking for the email. So here, we're just going to keep it super simple and we're just going to only ask for the email. But if I wanted to ask for a first name, you could come over here and you could do the exact same thing and you could add another form input and then make sure that you change this to first name here, there, and then put it in the right place. But for this one, we are just going to be keeping this really, really simple. And we're going to delete that little box there. And you can see I added some of these extra little boxes. So I'm going to quickly delete these blue placeholders here. And then I don't want this little built-with-system.io, advertising system.io there. So we're going to delete that as well in that place. And then now you can see we are now pretty much have a really clean landing page here that is going to capture someone's email. And the great thing is if you're capturing it with this landing page, system.io makes it very easy to send out an email to this user to actually get their asset. But there is one other thing that we do need to make sure we do. So after they click on the button here, it is going to send them to another URL. And right now it says open URL. We want this to be submit form. So after they click on this, they submit the form. And then we want this to be the next step in the funnel. Now we haven't created a thank you page. So I want to show you how to quickly create a thank you page to send people to after they click on and opt into this form. So we're going to hit save here. And then we're going to go over to this little button right here. And then what I like to do is I like to just duplicate the actual offer page and then just make that my thank you page. So I duplicate this in the funnel here. You can click on that and you can see this is the second stage of our funnel. If you are running a more complicated funnel, you could add more steps here as well if you wanted to. But what I like to do is rename this thank you page. And then this can be the video. And then here I add thank you right here. Now what that is going to do is this is going to be what people see after they fill out the form. So we want to come over to this page and we want to edit this page. And basically we want to delete the form here because they've already submitted the form. We're going to delete this. We're going to delete this. And then what I like to do is just replace this text with thank you for submitting the form. The Pinterest account audit template will be sent to your email inbox in a few minutes. Now it's important that you send it to their email inbox so that we can set up the automation there. And it also gets people used to seeing your emails in their inbox. Now, a lot of times, depending on the flow for this, I will also say in a few minutes, and then I'll say, while you wait, be sure to check out like XYZ asset. And then what I'll do is I'll add another button here where people you can just go and you can add a button here and actually just like have them go to another call to action as well, or send them deeper into your funnel if you're wanting to do an upsell or something like that. So while you wait, be sure to check out this asset as well. Now with System.io, honestly, the email gets sent pretty much almost instantly, but we want users to allow a little bit of time just in case it does take some time to be sent to their inbox. And also it gives them excuse to maybe go to this next call to action if you wanted them to. If you don't want to send them somewhere else, you can just leave that there and then have it just like this. So, and I'm going to delete this. And so now let's go and preview and see what this looks like. Oh, be sure to hit save changes before you preview the flow. So we're going to come back over here and go back over this way. Once we're in here, we can click a Pinterest template and then we can copy this URL right here, go to this area, go to the actual template. And then we want to fill out the form to make sure that it is actually working as intended. So we're going to put our email in right here and make sure that this works as it needed to. It knows that this is just a test email. I guess I got to put a real email in here. And then you can see it does exactly what we need it to. Thanks for submitting the form. The Pinterest account audit template will be sent to your email email in a few minutes. So that's exactly what we want it to do. So now we have our lead magnet and landing page all created. Now it's time to move on to the actual email and the automation of the email. And this is where, personally, in my opinion, System.io really kind of shines, because we can set up really neat automation rules with the email. So we're inside of our websites and the sales funnel here. If you click on the one that has the form inside of it, so this is important. We want to go to our opt-in page, the Pinterest template. We come over here to automated rules, and we want to create an automated rule that once somebody actually fills out our form, it sends them the email with the asset inside of it. It's important that you set this up, obviously, because you want people filling out your form for nothing and not receiving the asset. And here we want to add the rule, and then we want the trigger to be when the funnel step form is subscribed. So we click on that, and then this is the funnel that we want, Pinterest video 2, and then the funnel step is Pinterest template. And then with this, we want it to be a specific action. We want to actually send them an email. And what I actually like to do as well, along with sending an email, is I like to tag all of the emails that come in from a specific source. So for instance, for this one, I would probably label this audience. I want to add the tag of Pinterest. You can see I have different ones here for like Google Ads, Pinterest, Snapchat, TikTok. But this one, I want this audience to be Pinterest because I know it's people who are interested in Pinterest. So you can add tags. You can add all sorts of automations on the back end here. But the most common ones that I use is the tag and then also the email. What's nice is once you have emails drafted, you can see there's lots of emails here that you can utilize. You can utilize those drafts essentially. But for here, we're going to be creating an email from scratch just to get things started. So we're going to click on this little create new email. Now, before we jump into the email, if this is your first time using System.io, you're probably going to notice right over here in this right-hand corner, this sender email address, there's something that says set up your sender email address. Now, as I mentioned before this video, there is a little bit of setup with this, and you will need to verify your email before you can send it. And this requires going into your DNS and doing some different settings. If you click inside of here and click this little box, you can go and verify your email address. I'm not going to walk through the steps on how to do that in this video because it will vary depending on who your website provider is. I personally use Bluehost, and there's lots of different providers like GoDaddy, Hostinger, lots of ones that you can use. I will leave resources to the links down below on how to set up your sender email address. Because of email laws and things like that, you will need to make sure this is set up before you send out emails to make sure that you're compliant. So just a heads up there. And then once again, if you're great at writing and already have an email built out, you can just simply type these different things in. For me, I like to go to ChatGPT and use things like this. So it gives me, I just said something like, write me an email with subject line, preview, and body text for when someone downloads my Pinterest account audit template. They can download it. And then you can see I have my subject line and everything inside of here. So I'm just going to copy and paste that in real quick. Okay, so I just copied this template into here. Now there's a couple of things I want to point out that are like little things that actually do make a big difference. The first thing is if you're only asking for email, do not put a first name marker here. If you wanted to dynamically insert first name, this is the way to do it. You grab this little thing and then you come over here and you put hey first name. But if you are not capturing their first name, this will not work, and you don't want to put that in there. So a lot of times with my emails, just to be safe, I'll just put hey here and then not even worry about the first name. So something to keep in mind here. The next thing is click here to download your template. Now this is like another one of those simple things that does make a little bit of a difference. There's a couple different ways you can deliver this template. So the first is if you are using Google Sheets, you come over here and you do a file, and then what you want to do is click on the share button. So file, share, and then share with others. And you want to make sure that this is not editable. You just want to click over here, anyone with link, and then you want this to be viewer only, and then copy the link. And then you can come back over to your email and copy the link into here. That's how you do it if you're using Google Sheets. And then if you are using Canva, there's a couple different ways you can share this, but how I like to do it is come over here to the share button and then come to the public view link. Once you click on that, you can create a public view link and then copy that, paste that link into your template right here. Now, a couple other things I like to then reiterate what the template is going to do. And then this is really important. You want to train your users to expect more emails from you and to be looking for you in their inbox and give them a reason to be looking for you in their inbox. So something as simple as this, like if you want more extra tips and tricks and traffic, click here. I'll be sending more your way. And then I just have my name or something else here. But that's just like a simple template that you can utilize. Once you have that all filled out, you can save this right here and then save the rules for there. Now, it's like I said, it's important that this automation rule is on the page that has the form. So if you click here, you'll notice when I click the automation rule, there are no automation rules on the thank you page. It's on the actual page that has the form on it. Now, before you do start running traffic to this, I do recommend copying this link and just testing it and sending it to your email to make sure that it's actually going through before you start running that. But once you have that all done, your system is now pretty much in place. The last thing is to start getting busy on Pinterest. So we're going to come over here to Pinterest and we're actually going to pin this into our flow. So we're going to click and drag into one of the pins that we've designed here. Okay, so I just downloaded the pin that we have here. I'm using just targeting the keyword like Pinterest account audit template. Now, if you don't know how to find keywords, I have a full video dedicated to that, so you can check that out down below, and then how to actually find like descriptions and things like that. We have it going to our URL here. You can publish this to later or publish immediately. And as I mentioned, now what I would probably do in this situation is I would grab this URL. I would come over to Tailwind and I would copy this URL into here, and then I would start generating pins using their Pinterest generated from URL tool. So then it can start automating that process and start creating pins for you essentially that you can schedule and bring out. And if you have 10 to 20 pins, you can either publish them later inside of Pinterest, or I like to use personally, like I've said, Tailwind to schedule out pins for like the next coming week. So you can kind of automate the process going through. And then all that's left is to now actually publish this specific asset. So we're going to publish that through. Okay, so now your funnel is built. What is next? The next things that I would start looking at is tracking the pin to click-through rate, looking at the impressions in your analytics in Pinterest, and then also the landing page conversion rate. And then I would A/B test pins and images and headlines based on that. For each of these lead magnets, I would try to pin at least 20 to 30 times to see what kind of traffic you can get. Now, when I run these funnels, I don't want to sugarcoat anything. There are lead magnets that sometimes I don't get any leads coming through. And then there's these other ones where they're just complete outliers, and I want to basically spend all the time on those. So don't get discouraged if the first funnel that you build out doesn't bring any traffic. The next thing is adjust your email subject lines for better open rates. If you're noticing that a lot of people aren't opening those rates, look at those things. Use Tailwind to automate your posting process, and then build email flows and upsell with System.io. What I recommend for your emails is the first one be the deliver the freebie. And then the second one, I recommend adding value, share your story, or build trust. And then the fourth one, that is when you can start doing lighter pitches. You can put like affiliate products inside of there that you would recommend, or you can start going for a sale if you're like doing like courses or things like that. You could do that, or you could even start trying to sell the course from the very beginning inside of your funnel as well. Now, the last thing that I will mention that you can do if you wanted to accelerate this, especially if the funnel is starting to work really well, you may want to start running ads to your funnel inside of Pinterest. If you want to learn how to run ads, I actually have a full course running on how to run Pinterest ads. You can check that out right there. It's kind of the next step in accelerating this funnel to get even more leads and more eyeballs on your traffic. But if you want to do it completely organically, you can definitely do that as well. Once again, check out all the resources down below to get links to everything that we talked about, and we'll see you in the next video.